Good morning and welcome. And could we have somebody posted up at the back door just to let other people in as they come in? Okay, great. Well, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation here at Chalice. We are a community of diverse beliefs and experiences nurturing the liberal religious spirit and united in our desire to grow in love and service. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your life's journey is, you are welcome here. Whether it's your first time here joining us, or whether you come once or twice a year, or join or visit every week, or here every Sunday, you are truly welcome. I'm Andrew Bernard. I'll be your worship associate today. Our worship leader and pulpit guest this morning is Reverend Arvid Straube. He's also our affiliate minister here, so everybody should know him. Our musician is Tim McKnight, and our song leader and vocalist is Maria Pia Duffy-Fultz. Our sound and video engineer is Jake Diock, and our greeters this morning were Ann McCarran and Shannon Anderson. Our minister, Reverend Sharon Wiley, will return to the pulpit on the 1st of February. So welcome to all here in the chapel and everyone here on Zoom. For those in the chapel, if you're in a row that's, please move the edges of the walls so that there's space for everybody if they're coming a little bit late. We want everybody to find a seat easily. Feel free to wear a mask or step outside. If it feels comfortable for you, you can also hear what's going on in here from the courtyard. Newcomers, we're so happy that you're here. And you'll find information about our group and activities in the weekly email and newsletter. Our online friends, you'll receive an invitation to join the email list. In person, newcomers, if you haven't already joined our email, please sign in at the book, or please sign in the book and we will send you an email. That's the best way to really stay connected. Now, let's take a breath together. As we settle our souls into worship, we acknowledge Indigenous people with the words from Linda Hogan, a Chickasaw author and poet. There is a way nature speaks, that the land speaks. Most of the time, we're simply not patient enough, quiet enough, or to pay attention to the whole story. Now, we light our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. I'd like to invite Laura Brown to come forward and light the chalice this morning. Our chalice lighting words come from Thich Nhat Hanh. We light this chalice as a reminder to be fully present in this moment, breathing in peace, breathing in compassion, mindful of our words and aware of the interactions, our interconnected web of life. Thank you. Thank you, Tim. And wow. I don't know if applause is like the right. I feel moved though. Always love your playing. So the words for our call to worship this morning come from the Buddha in the Dhammapada. I'm not sure I'm saying that right. Verse 100. Better than a thousand hollow words. Better than a thousand hollow words is one word that brings peace. Let us gather in mindfulness, speaking and listening with care, in the community and in the wider world. Now, please rise in body or spirit, and we're going to sing a hymn. I have joys and sorrows. That's right. Okay. All right. I must have mixed this up a little bit. Sunday, our Sunday worship service, is our shared spiritual practice of our community, and we tend to one another at this time by sharing and holding joys and sorrows. In the chapel, if you're invited to write down your joys and sorrows on a candle card, which will be collected. Online, please share your joys and sorrows with your name in the chat. These will be spoken out loud, and this portion will be removed from our YouTube recording later for privacy. If you'd like to share something privately with Reverend Sharon or Reverend Arvid, or a prayer request, please email her, and the email address will appear on the screen shortly. So now we have a little bit of music for you guys to enjoy while we write down our joys and sorrows.
It was quite a deal. Anyway, so we'll now light a pillar candle to represent all the joys and sorrows that were not spoken but are gathered into the love of this community.
As we approach the birthday of Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., our story today celebrates his legacy of nonviolence, of nonviolent love, mindful words and actions, and sought for healing division and awakening justice. So if all the kids could come forward, they already have. But.
This book is called Happy Birthday, Martin Luther King, written by Jean Marzolo and illustrated by J. Brian Pinkney. Martin Luther King Jr. was born on January 15, 1929, in Atlanta, Georgia. His parents loved him very much. Martin Luther King had the same name as his father, except for one thing. His father was called Martin Luther King Sr. Martin was called Martin Luther King Jr. Martin went to elementary school, high school, and college in Atlanta. He was a good student. Later, he went to divinity school in Pennsylvania. Martin became a pastor, just like his dad, at the Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta. They were both called Reverend, the Reverend Martin Luther King Sr. and the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. Martin's job as a minister was to help people in need. He visited sick people in the hospital and made them feel better. He asked people not to fight with each other. He said that there were peaceful ways to solve problems. And like his father, Martin led people in prayer and song. The Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. is famous because he helped our country change some of its laws. A law is like a rule. Once there was a law in some places that said only white people could sit in the front of a bus and that black people had to sit in the back. Martin Luther King said this law needed to be changed. Rosa Parks and other people helped him change it. Now all people can sit in any empty seat they like. Once there were laws in some places that said that African Americans could use only certain restaurants and drinking fountains. Martin Luther King and many other people helped change these laws. Now all people can share the same restaurants and drinking fountains. Once there was a law in some places that said that black children and white children couldn't go to school together. Martin Luther King and other people, including many very brave children, had this law changed too. Now black children and white children can go to school together. Martin Luther King had a special talent for leadership. When he spoke, people listened. Poor people, rich people, white people, black people, and people from all around the world listened when Martin Luther King spoke. Many helped him work, march, sing, and pray for justice. In the summer of 1963, Martin Luther King Jr. gave the most famous speech of his life. He gave it outdoors to 250,000 people who had come to Washington, D.C. to ask the president for jobs and freedom for black people. In his speech, Martin Luther King said that he had a dream. His dream was that people everywhere would learn to live together without being mean to one another. Martin Luther King Jr. was shot and killed in 1968. Because he loved poor people so much, he was given a special funeral in Atlanta, Georgia, where he was born. His body was put in a simple farm cart and pulled slowly by 2 mules to a cemetery. Thousands of people walked behind Martin in a sad, loving parade. On his gravestone were carved these beautiful words, "Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, I'm free at last." Martin Luther King wanted people to be able to go places together, share food together, and love one another in peace. Because he worked so hard for freedom and helped so many people gain it, we honor him every year on his special day. We call the day Martin Luther King Day, and we say to him, "Happy birthday, Martin Luther King."
As the children go off to their classrooms, please join me in singing. We hold you in our love as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go.
This reading comes from the Buddha on right speech. And what is right speech? Abstaining from false speech, abstaining from diversive speech, abstaining from harsh speech, abstaining from idle chatter. This is called right speech. In our time, when our world travels instantly through digital voices and artificial minds, we may remember our speech, whether human or machine, shapes the world. Let us speak with mindfulness, truth, kindness, and love. We're delighted to welcome our affiliate minister today, Dr. Arvid Straube, to the pulpit. Reverend Arvid brings decades of experience. God, if I could only read. So, Reverend Dr. Arvid Straube brings decades of ministry experience and deep engagement with contemplative traditions, including Buddhism. This morning, he offers a sermon called "The Buddha Meets A.I," inviting us to consider how ancient wisdom can guide us into our technological age.
So, of course, I asked ChatGPT to comment on this. Here's the prompt. Please write a couple of paragraphs about how Buddhist teachings relate to AI. The answer came back in less than a second. It was instant. Here it is. Buddhist teachings offer a useful lens for thinking about artificial intelligence, especially through ideas such as impermanence, non-self, and intention. In Buddhism, phenomena are understood as arising from causes and conditions rather than possessing an independent and fixed essence. AI systems similarly have no inherent self or consciousness. They are contingent processes shaped by data, design choices, and human goals. Recognizing this parallel can help demystify AI and reduce the tendency to anthropomorphize it by encouraging a more grounded understanding of what AI is. It is not, and what it is not. From this perspective, AI is neither inherently good or bad. Its effects depend on the conditions under which it is created and used. Buddhism also emphasizes ethical action rooted in compassion and mindfulness, which is highly relevant to AI development and deployment. Right intention and right action suggest that designers and users should be attentive to the suffering or well-being their technologies may cause, whether through bias, displacement, or misuse. Mindfulness encourages ongoing awareness of consequences rather than blind attachment to efficiency or profit. In this way, Buddhist ethics do not reject technology, but call for a careful and compassionate approach, one that treats AI as a powerful tool whose moral significance lies in how thoughtfully and responsibly humans choose to employ it. Well, that's the answer I got. And I've taught Buddhism actually at a grad school level, and I can tell you that this is pretty close. It's right on the money. So I guess we can leave now. We need you, Tim, sorry. Remember when the internet was first became available to mere mortals, and how it was supposed to bring in the age of Aquarius or whatever? You know, all people globally could get together and share love, peace, and harmony, and you know, we'd be one global community thanks to the internet, and everything would be great, and that's not what happened. So technology, we can't expect that this technology either is free of danger. However, the way that I want to share a quote by the sociobiologist Edward O. Wilson, and this applies to all kinds of technology. The real problem of humanity is the following. We have Paleolithic emotions, medieval institutions, and godlike technology, and it is terrifically dangerous, and it is now approaching a point of overall crisis. One of the ways the Buddha describes suffering is when our minds are unconsciously inhabited by what he termed the three poisons. The three poisons are, first of all, greed, grasping, craving, or hatred, aversion, or delusion. Waking up in the Buddhist project is recognizing when our minds are under the influence of these three poisons, and then cultivating as antidotes mindfulness, compassion, and wisdom instead. So no matter what the technology, it's not immune from the three poisons. And I'm thinking that maybe social media has acted as an accelerant for these three poisons in our collective consciousness. Have any of you seen that Del Toro movie, a remake of Frankenstein? It's on Netflix, I think, and it tells the story again of that early 19th century novel by Mary Shelley about a scientist who is so enamored of the possibility of being able to create life out of lifeless matter, you know, parts of corpses that he's put together, and he's created a monster. And the problem with Dr. Frankenstein's monster is that Dr. Frankenstein was so enamored of his project that he gave not a thought to what the possible consequences of that project might be, and that wrought major devastation to his community. Well, maybe a lot of the tech now, and a lot of the people that are in charge of the tech now, I worry, are so enamored of the clever and cool things that they can do, the godlike powers that are possible, and the possible profits that this could create in a capitalist society, that they're giving too little thought to the consequences of their creations. However, on the other side, a lot of Buddhist teachers are actively embracing artificial intelligence And some of them are even AI engineers. They're both AI engineers and Buddhist teachers. There's even a chat bot that is ordained as a Zen priest. And you can ask Buddhist questions of this chatbot. My main meditation teacher is a guy named Shinzen Young. I've done multiple retreats with him. He's a scientific kind of geeky guy and very, very interested in putting together science and Buddhist meditation. His vision has long been that if there's enough cognitive scientists who actually have deep meditation experience, then we could make it easier for people to get enlightened because we'd understand the human brain better, and that would allow enough people to get enlightened to maybe save humanity. That has been his projects for the decades that I've known him, and right from the beginning, he pioneered a meditation, a technique of meditation instruction, which he calls the algorithmic method. And when I first encountered this method, it was very low tech, a telephone line, and that's it. So here's what would happen. In a typical 7 or 10-day Vipassana meditation retreat, we'd maybe get to talk to the teacher every other day in a group. But if you were to have a session with Shinzen, you'd be sitting by yourself in meditation, and then the phone would ring, and you'd answer, and Shinzen said, "How's your meditation going?" And you describe it. And he'd say, "Try this, I'll get back to you." I'd hang up, we'd try his method, and again, after a while, he'd be talking to other people. In the meantime, low tech here, okay? And then the phone would ring again. "Okay, how did that work? The change that you made in your technique?" I'll tell you what, this really supercharged the effectiveness of my meditation. I'm so grateful to him for this innovation. And one of his dreams is to create a computer program that will teach meditation so that you don't really need a teacher. And now we have AI. And he's retired from teaching to develop an AI chatbot that will be free and available to anyone. Hopefully to, quote, democratize enlightenment. In the meantime, he has a laboratory that project that at the University of Arizona that he's working with a cognitive scientist. The subject in this laboratory would wear a helmet of like electrodes and ultrasound waves would be sent to specific areas of the brain, which then would create a sense of what he calls okayness, or in Buddhist terms, equanimity, a sense of okayness. And people who are experienced meditators who have done this, who have been subjects here, find that it's worth about 5 days of meditation to get to that point that you can do in one session with the ultrasound. That's kind of intriguing. What will happen to that when some of the people at Silicon Valley get hold of it? The potential is very great. And I think the dangers are there. A core teaching of Buddhism is that our consciousness, and indeed everything else that exists, is created by constantly changing causes and conditions. Impermanence, that's what the word Buddhist term impermanence means. Everything that exists is because of causes and conditions coming together, and they are constantly changing, even our sense of self. This is what the late Vietnamese Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh calls interbeing. So that's pretty abstract. Let me illustrate this. So this is a piece of paper Now, this piece of paper could not exist if it weren't for a logger. And that logger would never have come into being if the logger had not had a great-grandmother. This piece of paper could not have come into being if it hadn't been for soil, for sun, for rain. If you think about it, the whole cosmos is in this piece of paper. As the great science educator Carl Sagan said, if you want to make a cherry pie from scratch, you have to invent the universe. We humans can, however, make conscious choices in how we affect these causes and conditions. And that's why I think it's worth it for those of us who are very concerned about the direction this country's going in, to do what we can to affect the causes and conditions that have created and are creating these situations and move them in a positive directions. Our choices do matter. This is where our power comes from. Our current situation came about because of causes and conditions, and they are changed by causes and conditions, and our participation in those causes and conditions in a positive way is where our hope lies. So our choices affect the qualities of our minds, our emotions, and then our actions, and then our relationships, and then our communities, and finally, the cosmos itself. And so it matters how conscious and well-motivated these choices are. There's a Buddhist teacher named Deborah McLaughlin who's part of a project to create a teaching chatbot called Skywalker. It's not available yet because I looked it up after I read the article in a Buddhist publication about this project. It's called Skywalker. The name is not an accident. The teacher, whose voice you would access through the Skywalker chatbot, has the voice of Yoda from Star Wars. She has some suggestions about what we can do right now to move AI in a positive direction. We can practice right speech, even when we're interacting with an artificial intelligence entity, meaning it's true, it's kind, it's helpful, and it's timely. And we can ask the chatbot to respond in kind. We can also ask it or him, her, whatever, to check the sources and identify the sources. And that can really help to have right speech. We can ask the responses of the chatbots to be gentle, to be honest, and to not be afraid to give constructive feedback. We can say thank you at the end of the conversation and ask it to carry the spirit of that conversation into conversations with other humans. If you think about this in the context of the choices we make and of the consciousness that we bring to it, and interacting with mindfulness and the principles of right speech, I'm sure you can think of other ways in which you, in your relationship with artificial intelligence entities, can help those causes and conditions move in a positive direction, because they're here to stay. And they do have tremendous positive potential as well. Deborah McLaughlin wrote in an article in the Buddhist publication Lion's Roar, "Let our questions, our prompts, be offerings. Let our online presence be practice. Let our prompts and responses be mindful speech. It may seem small, but karma is made up of small moments. Everything counts. Yes, everything counts. And not just when we use artificial intelligence. May it be so.
Callie and Tom will be joining me for this next hymn, which is a meditation on breathing. So it's in 3 parts, and Tom will start us off with what is called the bass drone, and he will sing that through twice. And then I will join and sing the melody, and I will sing that through twice. And then Callie will join, and she will sing the descant, and she will sing that through twice. And then we will eventually drop off one by one. Callie will drop off first, then I will drop off, and then we'll be left with Tom. So pick a part and join in.
Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. I love music, and I feel so full of breath right now. The Sunday offering is an expression of our generosity that makes our congregational life possible. As a Buddhist teacher, Prema Chödrön writes, generosity is the activity that loosens us up by offering whatever we can, $1, a flower, a word of encouragement. We think we are training in letting go. We encourage you to text your donations to Chalice. We'll continue with the standard or instructions on the screen. If your donation is a part of your pledge, please add pledge after the amount. Please give generously.
Will you repeat after me the affirmation? At Chalice UU congregation, our mission is to inspire individual and communal spiritual growth. I'd like to say a few words about the special music, which I requested. It's important to know that this was Martin Luther King's favorite song. He actually requested this song to be played by the saxophone player who was playing at a worship service right before he was assassinated. It became a very important song for the civil rights movement and was sung at his funeral by Mahalia Jackson. And we'll be hearing this song now.
Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, help me stand. I am tired, I am weak, I am worn. Through the storm, through the night, lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home. When my way grows drear, precious Lord, linger near. When my life is almost gone, hear my cry, hear my call, hold my hand lest I fall. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, help me stand. I am tired, I am weak, I am worn. Through the storm, through the night, lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home. Precious Lord.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now is the time of meditation, prayer, or reflection, and there'll be a moment of quiet for you to pray, meditate, reflect on your own after the spoken words. And the spoken words of our meditation come from two sources, which I'll be interweaving. One is Buddhist scripture, and the other are the words of Dr. Martin Luther King. Never does hatred cease by hating in return. Only through love can hatred come to an end. Returning hate for hate multiplies hate, adding despair, adding deeper darkness to a night already devoid of stars. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Let none, in anger or ill will, wish another harm. Forgiveness is not an occasional act. It is a permanent attitude. Never does hatred cease by hating in return. Only through love does hatred come to an end. Hatred paralyzes life. Love releases it. Hatred confuses life. Love harmonizes it. Hatred darkens life. Love illuminates it. Love, unrestrained, without hate or amnesty, devote your mind entirely to this. And now, a few moments of silence. Amen. Now please rise as we sing our next hymn.
We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. Feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hate and greed to be free. We are mercy. We are working to be free. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with all that is the sea. We can feed our every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these worlds will die. Peace and freedom is our cry.
Our closing words come from Jack Kornfield. May we walk with mindfulness in this digital age, speaking words that heal rather than harm, using tools of our time to awaken compassion in ourselves and the wider world. Love and blessings be with each of you as we have our hymn. But before that, we're going to switch things around a little bit because we have a fire drill that will be right after our song, The Well. So we're going to do announcements now, but after all that, and then after the fire drill, we'll have our reception on the courtyard. So please join us there and visit the people in the green room as well. So right now we're going to do announcements, and then the well, and then a fire drill. So yay.
So I think most of us can remember certain conversations we've had in our lives that have gone really deep, where we felt really understood, where we were benefited from the wisdom of the other person. The Buddha said that the whole of the spiritual path is wise friends and wise conversations. And the Soul Matters groups that we're starting now is a way to try to make these happen on a regular basis. They're monthly groups led by a trained facilitator talking about deep topics, and they will include an invitation to try some experiences to relate to the theme. And so if you're I'll be leading this effort, and if you're interested, please put a interest form, which also asks, when you might be available to be part of a group, whether it be online or in person. And there are some forms here, some hardcover forms, but there's also forms available through the website that there's links to that. So if you haven't signed up and if you're interested, please let us know. Yes. When do you need forms back? We'd like the forms back by the end of the month. We're hoping to have the group start the end of February, the beginning of March. Do we have another announcement?
No. Okay. So we can sing the well.